1970s Britain. Prosperity, modernity and excitement. One of the world's most important financial centres and the world's major trading and manufacturing nation. Destination for a young Rami Ranger seeking a law degree, success and fortune. But for the millionaire entrepreneur, philanthropist and family man, that success did not come without struggle and perseverance. In 1971, young Rami found that the land of opportunity did not give him the easy start he was hoping for. With high inflation, a struggling economy and rampant unemployment, finding work in 1970s Britain as a young immigrant was going to be tough. This is Rami's story.
I came here with high hopes that, the roads are paved with gold, money grows on tree. So when I arrived, I had a great fun, but it was a cultural shock to me. Wherever I went, they all had one question: do you have experience? And I had no experience, and there was nobody wanted to give me any experience. Finally, in desperation, I took a job as car cleaner because you don't need any qualification. And then one fine morning, I was going to the office, and I saw, not to office, to the garage, and I saw a shop with a sign, vacancy, chef required, KFC. They were opening shops at that time in 1971. And my district manager saw me working on the till, and he said, "Can you do the till?" I said, "Yes, of course." And he said, "Fine, I got an opportunity for you to become a system manager in Norwood."
Rami's amazing work ethic meant that another promotion was only ever around the corner.
So they were now opening a shop in Brixton. Here now I had a golden opportunity to prove myself. My store became #1 store in the company, and it really broken every record, sales record. And then they were so impressed that within 2 years, I was now running 10 stores. I became a district manager. So I stayed there for nearly 6 years. And by that time, my law had gone out of my head. And then I got married in between with my wife, Renu. And so in 1976, we were married. And then, unfortunately, I was made redundant because the company decided to sell their shop to individual franchisees. So I said, okay, if my mother came to UK and we did what everybody was doing, buy a corner shop. In those days, people were buying corner shop. All the Asians had come from East Africa. So I bought a sub-post office. My wife was working for Inland Revenue at that time. So the idea was that my wife will run the post office, I will run the shop, sweet shop in the front, and my mother will look after the baby.
Lured by the prospect of a better life, Rami took his family to Canada to start anew. Ultimately, immigration laws and a recession meant that Canada failed to live up to expectations. So now considerably worse off, the family returned to Britain to start again. Never one to stay down for long, Rami bought a newsagent's in Harrow and simultaneously resumed his career in sales.
So I joined Dixon's, which became Curry's. My wife joined the MOD, and we bought a beautiful house in Harrow. And there we were working. And I became #1 manager again. In this company, I found that although I was #1, but the regional manager was very unkind to me.
As a result, Rami became disillusioned with Dixon's and left to form a freight forwarding business with a friend. Although successful, the relationship was ultimately not a happy one, and Rami decided to go it alone. The resulting companies, Sea, Air and Land Forwarding and Sunmark, grew to be the jewels at the heart of today's British industry.
And I started my first job with just £2 capital from a shed in Hayes. And in those days, a lot of people used to come to Britain to buy TVs, microwaves, videos, washing machine, dishwasher, and all that. And you know, if you ship them unaccompanied, it's much cheaper than accompanied. And my business just snowballed.
And that snowball soon turned into an avalanche.
Non-alcoholic celebration drinks. All the fun without the alcohol. Pure heaven.
Sunmark, supported by sea, air and land forwarding, grew to be a world brand synonymous with quality and success. With ever-expanding depots and logistics operations, Sunmark has grown to export its produce to over 120 countries worldwide. Ray Perkins has been with Rami since the very start.
I saw an advert in the local airport magazine for an air freight manager for sea, air and land forwarding. So I called Rami, asked him if I can come down for an interview. He said, yes, sure. So came down and saw him. He explained the job to me. It wasn't the field that I was in. I was in international couriers, like DHL. So I said to Rami, look, basically, I'm sorry, I'm wasting your time. This isn't the job for me. He then said to me, what was my ambitions? What did I really want to do in my life? And I said to him, I'd love to set my own courier company up. From there, the conversation changed. I think he could see the potential in a new business, and straight away he offered me a position, and I've never looked back.
Sunny Ahuja is Rami's son-in-law and Sunmark CEO.
When I started, it was just a trial. Rami, Dad, basically said to me, come and work for a few months, see how it is, and if you like it, stay, and if you don't, no problem. And he did say, he said that, you know, we have a family business, I think it's got a great future, and it'd be nice to have the family working within it. The family will give it something which maybe others won't give it. If you enjoy it, stay. If you don't, no problem. And I completely took that attitude. I was very happy with it. I say that's the attitude I say to everybody. That give it a go. If you like it, stay. If not, no one's forcing you. So if it works out, so be it. And it worked out pretty well.
Rami is a spiritual person who, like his parents before him, believes in living life according to certain important principles.
My mother used to say, son, we are all blessed with these 5 wonderful qualities. These 5 qualities: self-respect, work ethic, commitment, vision, and empathy.
I don't remember them in the sequence, but I do remember that he always said that you should have a self-respect, and you should have, the very best I know is that you should have empathy for others. So which I have actually implemented in my life, that you should have empathy for others. You should think about others to make them grow and all that thing. So when I always make sure that my team, they get everything best, whatever I learn, I always pass on to them, the way Mr. Ranger or Ramiji pass on to me.
It's hard work, sincerity. You see them behind the counter working hard. And then when we moved and when we started the business, you would see the commitment and the dedication, the hours. My dad got a mobile phone not because it was trendy and not because he needed something this big to carry around with him, but because it was never to miss a call, never to miss a customer, never to miss an opportunity. Well, the biggest strength is that he has empathy for others. That's the best strength, because when you look upon others, treat them, he never felt us, he never make us feel like he's the owner of the company. He always been so nice to us, always pass by and always ask for us.
He's an example in himself. He started with nothing and he's achieved a lot. He had a vision. He turned his vision into reality. And, he's always had that drive in him. He's worked hard for it. He never gave up.
For Rami and his staff, the most important virtue to be held above all others is trust.
He can look at a person and he will trust you implicitly. Yes, it's the honesty he looks for in people.
The first thing comes from the person you work for is the trust. Trust is to work hard, that's what it is, or do things, everything in the best possible way.
He's shown his trust in me many times. He's always believed in me, I think. He's always believed that I will, do well in my studies. He's always believed that I'll join him. He's put full trust in me to come and work for him.
He never puts a block on what you can do. If you feel that you can achieve something, he'll be the first one to be behind you to push you for that achievement and for your goals.
Another man who knows all about rags to riches business acumen is entrepreneur and Pimlico plumber founder Charlie Mullins.
Good business ethics, you've got to have them in business, and there's many of them. And I know Rami's one of them, is loyalty and giving other people an opportunity and trusting people, of course.
I know Rami, meeting him in mostly social functions, and he comes out as one of the most genuine person and a very decent person, down to earth, helpful, polite, and that's what I like. And run your businesses or whatever you do with honesty and integrity. To me, integrity and honesty is very important.
When you look into somebody's eyes, I'm a very eye person, and when I looked into Rami's eyes, we both looked at each other, and I could see there was something in him that was good. I think just by looking in Rami's eyes, you could see the honesty in him.
Over the years, Rami has formed such close bonds with people, it's as if he has two families, one of work and one of blood.
With Rami, I see kindness, and that's first and foremost with me, with Rami, is his kindness, generosity, and he makes you feel part of his family. So he's been like a brother to me.
He is one of the most charming person in the community, who is very polite, who is very decent, always helpful, very respectful. I mean, I treat him like a son, and I think he gives me that affection and respect.
I will not lie to you, he's like a father figure to me, yeah. And Ramiji always helped me whenever I went to him directly. And I've seen myself not grown in work, I have grown as a person as well in my family life. He always made sure that that we look healthy. He always come and speak to you. So those are the things which really help me and as a person,
See, he when somebody joins here, he just give them encouragement by calling that you are a part of Sunmark family. He's always used as a Sunmark family. So that brings a motivation inside to everybody, each and every staff. So he links things so nicely that you feel you're working as a family on that.
Rami's rock is his wife and confidant, Renu. After over 40 years of marriage, they are a happy and successful partnership.
So my father was in the Air Force and we lived in New Delhi, and I was studying, I'd done my honours in economics and I was doing my master's in business economics, and I met Rami one day because my father, being in the Air Force, his older brother was in the Air Force, and I think he'd come from England wife hunting.
I really admire her for what, she's been with him, through so many hardships that they have seen together. And she's just a lovely and charming lady. I think, I'm sure she must be like one of his strengths, that both of them, they've just gone through the whole phase and they've reached here, and this is what they've established together.
It's just been an absolute pleasure for the 26 years and plus I intend doing, that it's been a pleasure working with Rami and obviously the family. including Renu. Renu played a very, very big part in the building up of Sierra Land and Sunmark. So, you know, behind every man is a fantastic woman.
He's a very caring man. He's a loving man, which you don't normally see, and he cares deeply for his family. And he looked after his mother really well till she passed. And then he is very good to my parents, and as he is to his, his own family, his own extended family, his brothers, and so he is typically a very, very family man, and he's also very generous. He's not the type that he is a good businessman. He makes money, but then he also puts back and does a lot of charitable work and does a lot of other work that benefits the community.
Rami has enjoyed enormous success in the business world, but he has also given a lot back. He does so willingly to honour his parents, whose values he holds so high. His father, Shahid Nanak Singh, a prominent lawyer, was killed by pro-partition fanatics on the 5th of March 1947, whilst trying to save the lives of 400 students from the DAV school in Multan. They were in a peaceful protest to stop the partition of India. It's in his name that Rami subsequently set up the Shahid Nanak Singh Foundation. He is also chairman of the British Sikh Association.
He does a lot of social work. He does a lot of work for community. This is what is really inspired me, myself as well, from day one. That he does a lot for community. And the same, he tells that I'm there for you all the time, to each and every staff.
From a charitable status, from having, should I say, ethnic groups in the UK understood by the main population, he's been very good at putting that message across as well. So, for instance, we have this British Sikh Association dinner coming up. You have major members of the government coming in. You have people from the army represented. You have people in high positions, and as a result, they spread that message that, the communities that come into the UK are actually just like us. They just look different, yeah? They may have different ways, but ultimately they're coming to the same thing. So it's his leadership skills probably which stand out the most.
It's the hard work. He's shown people that, the way forward. He's shown every community that how we can mingle together, how can we work together, how can we live together. So he's always known as the person who can bring lots and lots of people together.
The biggest inspiration in Rami's life has always been his mother. To understand what a marvellous woman she was, we need to revisit 1947. 14 million displaced persons, Hindus and Muslims, seeking safety in new surroundings. For peace-loving people, this was a tragedy. For the masses, it meant the weary trail of the road. Carrying what they could, they fled violence and persecution, only to encounter robbery and bandits en route. Amongst the million travelling refugees, Rami's mother was doing everything she could to get her 8 children to safety after fleeing their home in Gujranwala. Having lost the love of her life, Sadani Hadabant Kaur fled her hometown of Gujranwala in what was to become Pakistan with her 8 children. Packed into the coal tender of an overcrowded train, she and her children sat, and in her arms, a newborn Rami. Beset by bandits, the train to Firozpur took 3 days instead of 3 hours. From there, floods forced another 115-mile journey to the safety of Patiala. It was here Rami and his 7 siblings were raised single-handedly by their mother, who, against all the odds, took on the roles of both mother and father, mothering her children with love, whilst working as a teacher. She was a source of strength and remains a symbol of education, something Rami holds dear to this day.
So my greatest inspiration was my mother. my late mother, who at the age of 35 lost her husband, ancestor home and country due to the partition of India. So she came from a very good family where my father was very affluent to becoming a refugee in a refugee camp with 8 children. And she always said, you cannot give in or give up no matter what fate throws at you.
Education is the greatest liberator there is. And if you are well educated, you can leave behind generations of poverty in just one generation. Okay, and it can change for generations to come for you. That's extremely true, but that's also then been supported because he's now gone to London South Bank, West London University, and he's donated money and said, you know, have the basic education or have a high level of education, which can actually take you away from somewhere where I came from in the early days. And also his own mother was a teacher. And he always says to people that if my mother hadn't been educated, I would never be where I am today. And it's a principle we all follow. I've got a daughter, she'll be well educated, I can promise you.
Richard Harrington MP, a friend and admirer of Rami's, is witness to his tireless campaigning.
He goes to endless events and he never looks bored. He's always talking to people. He's always centre stage. He just does it. I mean, when the rest of us are wanting to go home, he, who is older than a lot of people, in fact, tri-stage as some of the people, he's up, you know, he's up there. But no, he does inspire people and people go to things because of him.
He is a great man, a great friend, a brilliant entrepreneur, someone who's put an enormous amount into this country, created jobs and wealth throughout this country. Ladies and gentlemen, the GG2 Man of the Year Award goes to Rami Ranger.
Rami has won a record 5 Queen's Awards for Enterprise. He also has an MBE and a CBE.
I feel very humble that, you know, with the teamwork we have, we are able to achieve this milestone in British business history. And the motivation came from Prime Minister. I must give him the due.
The first big accolade was when we first got the Queen's Award for export. In those days, it was export achievement. And, you know, you go to the palace and you see the Queen and you see all the other people and they're congratulating you, because at that time we never realized what a big deal it was, but it was, because you're actually exporting and you're, you know, generating wealth and employment for Britain as opposed to importing. So I think that was a big thing. And then his MBE followed, because that was, again, an acknowledgement or recognition of his work. And then after that, we've got 5 more. So it's just a testament of hard work, tenacity, and it does instill you with a lot of pride, especially when we're the only company in Britain to have achieved this. So
the first time was, you know, just wow, I can't believe it. It's absolutely amazing. And to think, you know, an immigrant from India has now got links to the Queen and is being awarded by the Queen. Just, I mean, family from all over the world came for that first award. And then the next one came. And I got to go to the MBE investiture. That was, again, for me, amazing. I didn't think in my lifetime I'd ever be able to experience anything like that. And it's all thanks to my dad, who's allowed us to see this world. We flew family in from Canada. We had a big party. The Lord Lieutenant came. It was huge. It was a massive, massive achievement. And then the second one, and the third one, and then when it was the 3 in a row for Sunmark, the pride of, you know, being one of the few companies to have achieved that. And then we had a big party again, and to stand up and say that it's a hat trick. You know, we've done this. It's remarkable.
So when he received his CBE, it was amazing. I felt so proud that he'd been recognised, because he is such a passionate man. He's passionate for all of his causes, all the causes he believes in. He's dedicated to them. He's all about bettering society, bettering the community, whether that be in business, politically, for charitable causes. So it was really nice seeing him recognised.
Incredible feeling. I cannot explain that he's an immigrant who arrived with nothing. Now, not only he has got a successful business, he's got a beautiful family. On top of that, he's got royal recognition. When I used to see Her Majesty the Queen on television, I could never have imagined that one day, not once, not twice, not 3 times, so many times, I will be face to face with such a gracious lady and the Queen of our country. So I feel humble, I feel lucky, I thank God, I thank the people who helped me, I thank the British public, that there is so much tolerance and fair play that a person like me could realize his ambition and become an asset for his family and the country. So it's a great feeling to take my family to Windsor Castle, to the Buckingham Palace. They can't ask for more. There is a proverb, I must tell you, it says, you are not richer until you have something which money cannot buy. And I feel very rich that I have something that money cannot buy, to be in front of Her Majesty the Queen.
One of the best things I like about him is he doesn't go around boasting, look at me, look at me, look at me, look what I've got. But, I've done my own work. The business community talk about him, the Conservatives talk about him. He's a guy that's actually come from nothing. I think he got MBE. Now he's just been given a CBE in the New Year's Honours list. I think we all know, hopefully, what the next one's going to be, which will be a knighthood. Sorry.
I'm glad to be part of his life in whatever way I am. Don't want any recognition for it, but I feel comfortable with the guy. I'll phone him up, and if I'm feeling fed up or something, I'll complain to him, not about him, but generally he always perks me up. He's a perker. That's what he does. Rami Ranger is the ultimate cup half full guy.
Well, what I can say about him, because he's my mentor, he's my idol. But then what I would like to say is that Ramiji, always be a lively person, yeah? That the way you are, be like that, because he's the person who wherever goes involves people around him. So that's the best thing about him. So I always pray that God gives him good life, and he should be what he is. I mean, he should be this vibrant and dynamic person. He should be like that.
No, you should keep doing what he's doing. As long as you love what you do every day, you'll do it till the day you die. And I say, where he's concerned, whatever he likes to do, he should carry on doing it. Whatever he does terribly well. Okay, he won't do it unless he can do it well. He'll only concentrate on it, or he'll keep on doing it until he does it well. So we like him being around, yeah. We like him being available on the phone, but we want him to also enjoy himself. He's worked, as I say, it's almost like if he's worked 50 years of his life, he's worked 100 years in that time, because he's worked harder than anybody else that I know. He's worked with more passion than anybody else that I know. So as a result, he deserves all the success that he has today, and he deserves to enjoy that success today.
It takes a special person, someone with a lot of determination, a lot of enthusiasm, and someone that works hard. And someone that also, can look into the future and see what they want to achieve in their life. And I think someone like Rami, that's exactly what he's done. He's worked hard, he's achieved it, he's a total inspiration now to everybody. And, it's a true story, from nothing to everything. And if there's ever a man that fits that bill, undoubtedly it's Rami.
I want to thank him for giving us all the platform, us. Company like Sunmark, for giving us an opportunity to grow as an individual and professionally. Definitely, I want to thank him for that.
Even now, like Rami's coming up for 70, we've got building work going on around us now. He will not stop. That's probably him out there now on a excavator pulling some of this down. There we go.
He's a family man, a selfless man. He's made sure that we've never wanted for anything. Intelligent, hardworking, ambitious. There's more than one word. You can't sum my dad up in a word. Incredible.
As successful as he is in business, and as well, his age and everything like that, they still look up to him. He has that sort of sparkle around him that not many people have. I mean, I'm sure Bill Clinton had it. I'm sure quite a few famous politicians have it, and he certainly got it. I've always felt if I was ever in a jam, and I've told my kids the same, if they were in a jam, he'd be the guy to go to.
Somebody asked me to fill in a form recently. It was one of these surveys, and they said, who is the most inspirational person you know? And I didn't have to think twice. I just put his name down straight away. And he affects people in a way I don't think he realizes about. And there's so many facets to his character. So it's hard to pin something on. So I'd say he's a real family man. He wants more for you than you want for yourself.